Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Races Driving League for the first race of Season 16. Welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix and the start of what should be perhaps one of the most competitive and entertaining campaigns we have seen in this league's history. I'm your host, Zach RC, returning once again for the brand new season to take you through all the action here from the Bahrain International Circuit tonight. And it's my absolute pleasure to welcome along a new co-commentator alongside me, replacing Pope for tonight and hopefully standing in some other roles later this season. None other than former RDL competitor Daniel Aaron. Daniel, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
I'm great, Zach. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be watching instead of racing for once. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really competitive season, and I think this is a very, very good track to sort of understand where everyone is in terms of whether they'll be hunting for the championship, whether they'll be going for the points, or whether they'll be fighting towards the back. It will be fun to watch either way.
Definitely, and of course, this first round will give us a great idea in terms of the pecking order for, as you say, as you say, for the remainder of the season. We've got a number of good lineups in here. I mean, of course, the returning pair of Grumio and Landau returning to full-time competition. Imri and Nicholas together in the Ferrari. Of course, the reigning champions, Fan and BJ in the McLaren. Grovey and Slazage of the Rebel. We've got a number of good teams here, so I'd say we're in for a very, very competitive season. But first, of course, one lap pace will decide the starting order for this season's Bahrain Grand Prix, the season opener to this championship, the second on F1 23. As at this point, Dan, I'm going to give you your first task as co-commentator in the RDL. I see Nicholas is on his way around towards the last corner, looking for his first time lap. Would you be so kind as to try and take us on a lap of the Bahrain circuit for me?
We absolutely can. He's on the medium tyres. He's not the only car on the mediums, however. The McLarens. I'm so used to them being in the Mercedes. The McLarens of Fan and BJ are also on the mediums. But anyway, Nicholas opens his DRS onto the main straight now, heading down into turn one. Speeds of upwards of 200 miles an hour. Brake around 130 meters. Get it down into second. This is a very, very nice first couple corners through there. That's brilliant. He nailed his throttle. Didn't lose too much speed with traction. It's a quite big issue, traction out of turn 2 especially. Into sector 2 now. That was a very, very nice turn 4 as well. Now into the slightly tricky S section. You've got to be careful on the curbs around here. He doesn't take too much exit. Into now probably the toughest part of the circuit. Here we go. Into this fast left, braking while steering left, making it tighter. Everybody struggles there. I don't think anybody is particularly fond of it. But onto the next DRS zone now, as PJ sets the first flying lap, a 129 flat. Coming up the hill, Nicholas will be chasing his teammate Imri, who's just gone fastest with a 128.5. Oh, that's a big kick of oversteer there from Nicholas. He'll lose him a bit of time, but he's on the mediums. This will be a banker lap. As long as he gets a lap down, I don't think it will be too bad. Coming out of the last corner now, does take a bit of curb on the exit. That will damage his run to the line as he sets a 129.152. Goes third, faster than Shane and Lucky, and just a tenth off of PJ as well. That was a solid lap on the mediums there, Zach.
Yeah, definitely, without doubt, and it puts him, just a couple tenths off of PJ, and Grovey goes P2 there on the softs. Of course, one of the few drivers who is returning to an old seat from last season at Red Bull, and I think that some of these obviously some of the drivers who joined mid-season in season 15 and now getting a chance to go fresh from 0 points, and that should give us a more entertaining championship, because of course we have got the points change coming in after the end of last season. The top 8 now only scoring points. So we're going from 10 points for the winner to 1 for the driver that comes home in 8th place with no fastest lap on offer. So going back to the old early 2000s style, and hopefully that should make for a more entertaining points race.
Yeah, it's something that I've got to try and remember as well. It's going to be difficult because obviously usually the point system goes down to 10 drivers. And now 12 people aren't going to finish in the points and 12 people aren't going to be happy with their races. So, you know, it will be very, very interesting to see how this shapes up the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship as well.
Without doubt. I see Imri there into the pit lane, currently provisional pole with a 1 minute 28.5. Pope on his reserved, returning to the reserve role in the AlphaTauri. Of course, reserved a few races last season, but was mainly in the comments box, sitting where you are right now, Dan. Pope, as it stands, 128.693. He's just in front of Landlord, then Groovy in 4th, and PJ still rounds at your top 5. But of course, we've got a number of good contenders who are still yet to get themselves onto the racetrack for a flying lap. Of course, we see 6-time champion Grumio out on his first timed run now. For his second lap, I believe he invalidated first time round. Cot 5, of course, was a master in leading through quali and the race, but invalidated his first effort there, so could be in trouble potentially in that Alfa Romeo. C110P found the reigning champion off the final corner, looking for his first flying lap of the season on the medium tyres, as we've often seen him do. He puts himself P10 narrowly in front of his teammate BJ, who pulls off into the pits.
Yeah, it's interesting to see who's sort of waited for their first few laps. I think Salve Grumio or Blaze, he might have backed out of his first lap because he's gone straight back into the pits. We've got Slazenger, who last season I don't think set one qualifying time since he joined, but whether he'll start qualifying now everybody's going to start from 0 will be interesting to see. But my championship favourite on his outlap, Che 012 in the AlphaTauri. It'll be interesting to see how he goes. Yeah, he's looks like he's slightly off strategy compared to everyone else, while everyone else is doing in-laps or in the pits. He's on his outlap. We also see Imri and Shane, who've already set a lap, doing another outlap as well, so maybe the quieter track might just benefit them all. Maybe less to worry about, less to think about on circuit as they go around.
Definitely makes sense, yeah. I can see. Oh, Che is
yeah,
warming up his tyres a bit too aggressively there, perhaps, in the AlphaTauri, of course, making his return to full-time competition, as well as hopefully we'll see a lot more appearances from him over the course of the season, and perhaps looking at another title challenge like he did back in Season 12, which the start of which would have been just a year ago at this point. Of course, this would have been when he was gearing up to take on Grumio in the hunt for his first Racers Driving League Championship.
Yeah, it will be interesting. There's so many faster drivers compared to this time a year ago. And obviously the game has changed as well. So how everyone has come on. Obviously we saw last season C110P fan, who's currently 11th on the mediums. He wrapped up his first championship. But I can't remember the last race that he won necessarily. I think that was a lot of the newer drivers like Cott, like Nicholas, like Imri, that all came in and ended up getting wins after they joined midway through the season. So yeah, a lot to talk about this race and this season.
Definitely, as we see how those newer drivers get on in their first start in a full season of competition. And to answer your question, Dan, Fan's last victory came back at Zandvoort, which he narrowly won. Wow. By 0.003 of a second over Websy at the end of a very entertaining Grand Prix. Yeah. A lot of casualties that day. Do you remember racing that day?
Yeah, I remember racing it, and I remember coming out of it thinking I should have won, but ended up retiring halfway through it. So, yeah, I wasn't too happy with it, but, you know, these things happen. And, you know, I think with this point system, it'll be very interesting to see whether you'll find drivers find it easier to catch up or whether drivers find it harder to catch up, because there's 25 points for a win, obviously, last season, and now it's 10, but also P8 would have given you 4 points, and now P8's only going to give you 1. So there might not be as much chance to catch up in terms of like points percentage on the driver in front. It will be very, very fun to see how that comes out throughout the season.
See Imri going fast as they're once again going a quarter of a second up on his previous effort. This is a far different beast to the one we saw last season, who had the pace but just couldn't quite get himself to the end of the Grand Prix without issue. Which I'm sure he won't hate me for saying so, because I think he'll probably know better than anyone the struggle he went through in the last third or so of last season. Of course, joined at the same time as Nicholas, who runs in P8 right now. But while Nicholas got off to a good start, taking 2 victories in his first half season, Imri wasn't so lucky, but took a few good results with him, and hopefully those should carry him with momentum through to this season. As Grovey goes P2, of course, she came close a few times to victory as well. So we'll have to look out and see how she does this season. She'll be one of the ones to watch over the campaign. And Pope's still there in P3, Landed in P4, and Cott now has set a lap time. He's in 5th place. And look at it, Grumio yet to set a valid lap time. Let's keep an eye on him here.
Yeah, Grumio, Schlesinger, Cottony, and Websey all without a lap at the moment. It'll be interesting to see where they put themselves on this field. Obviously, BJ now going up to P7. That's where we'd expect them when you compare his pace to last season as well. And looks like C110P fan is on his first flying lap on the soft tyres. So last season's champion. It will be interesting to see as Schlesinger goes up to P2, just beating out Nicholas. Ferrari, Red Bull. It's very, very close at the top.
Definitely. I'm getting Bahrain 2022 vibes almost from looking at the order here.
Yeah.
That'll be the only, looks like that'll be the only pecking order for this race. Of course, Fan took victory in this race last season driving for Mercedes, and that of course paved the way to his first RDL championship. But typically we've seen the Landlord Grumio combo be very good here in Bahrain in the past, so perhaps they'll be looking for a bit more of the same in their first race back as full-time teammates. As Grumio comes charging towards the line here, and he puts it on pole, where we've seen him many times in the past. Grumio may be about to start working towards breaking that record that he owns for pole positions. 19 poles from 24 races as achieved in season 14.
I mean, yeah, there are very, very fast teams this season. It's going to be tough. I think everyone's morale might just get demolished a bit if they're not careful. They need to work throughout the season to get up. I mean, yeah, this Williams Ferrari Red Bull is crazy. And then obviously we got two AlphaTauris as well in the top 10, followed by Alfa Romeo. You got two McLarens in the top 12 as well. So it's tight. It's very, very fast. Very
tight indeed. I will say that top 6, while it looks pleasing on the eye in terms of the running order, I can guarantee that these guys are looking to try and change that as we get towards the last few minutes of this qualifying session. Slaz bring out the yellow flag here, just letting one of the Williams cars through in the last corner. So the green flag should come back out. I see an Aston Martin doing the same. So hopefully we'll get a better indication in just a moment of how much time we have left. Just under 5 minutes to go in this session. So everything's still to play for. Everyone's got time for one more lap. But I dare say we're about to see the track get very quiet as we wait for that last run.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a quiet period at the moment. Everybody will just pit and wait for the last few minutes. We see Grovey on an outlap going early. I think she did this quite a lot last season as well. Just maybe get that clear track. Like I said earlier, less to think about when you're setting your flying lap, and it just clears the head. Maybe gives you that extra half a tenth that could put you up one, or maybe even in this grid, maybe 2 or 3 positions. So, you know, I think if you got something that works, it's very, very important, and Grovey clearly has something that works for her. So yeah, and I think it will put her on a good platform to build up to maybe put a fight up for the championship.
We can definitely hope so. Wouldn't say no to another championship contender in the mix. Looking into this last rundown, of course, you've been involved in many RDL qualifying sessions in your time. What would your strategy normally be going into a qualifying run?
I'm
sorry,
I'd always.
Here, but...
I am not a very good qualifier, so it would just be to try and get myself in front of the drivers I don't want to overtake. So there were drivers that maybe I didn't prefer fighting on track. So as long as I was ahead of them, I'd be happy, and I knew that I could build up positions throughout the race. I think, yeah, last season at Zandvoort was probably a good indication of that, because I was running quite high, despite qualifying, I think, down in like 16th or something. So, again, it's just working with what you're comfortable with and what you know you'll succeed in.
Fair enough. I mean, it's always good to go into it with a game plan in that respect. Just keep an eye out here on Grovey's laps, making their way through the second sector now, and looking potentially to try and upset those cars in front of her. Of course, 5 drivers with faster times, but all separated by if I have a look here at the exact gap, separated by just under 4 tenths, separating the top 6 right now, and Pope and Cotton out laps as well. We're seeing everyone coming out there here for their last runs. Everyone looking for clean air and just looking for a bit of space on the racetrack. And I think Grovey going out early would have put her in good stead for that. We'll keep an eye on her here. She comes through the last corner to complete her lap. Got one of the Ferraris in front of her. We'll find out who that is in a moment when they cross the line. Here she comes off the final corner and charging on. Nicola starts his final lap. Grovey puts herself P3 just in front of her teammate by just over a tenth. But Slaz still yet to go, so keep an eye on these guys over the last few minutes. But everyone except for Cockney Goblin and the Mercedes of Shane now out on the racetrack. Oh no, scrap that. Both of them on the racetrack too. This is the first time I think we've ever seen, that, at least I've ever seen in recent years, that we've had all 20 drivers out there for a qualifying lap at once. So that's a rarity. And we've got a slow Aston Martin too.
Yeah, JB set his lap early. You know, within 8/10 of pole and down in P13. It must be tough. Because I mean, under 20, what is it? Under 29, it's a fast lap, but you know, you're still in that second half of the grid, and by the time everybody else comes around, it might be bottom 5, bottom 6. So it's going to be tough, but the qualifying is not where the points are won. As long as you have a good strategy, you know how to manage your ERS and your fuel in the race, the points will come to you and the positions will come to you. And around a track like Bahrain, where mistakes are prominent, you know, we've seen it quite a lot in the last few seasons, especially entering Sector 3 and down at the tricky left, like I pointed out in the first qualifying lap. You know, just let the race come to you. Do not go to the race around here.
Makes sense, yeah. Obviously, me personally, I've driven a few Bahrain races in my time offline, but yeah, I'd say that's a good way of looking at it in terms of.
Oh, Emery's lost
out.
it. Yeah, Emery has lost it. Wow. He's lost a shot at pole, and how many positions will that cost him as well? It's not good, but you want to get these mistakes out early. You don't want to make these mistakes in the race. Now you know your limit, and that's another Ferrari, I think, in the pits actually retired.
In the pit lane there, Nicholas.
So both Ferraris not being able to get that final lap, but again, as long as you can race fine, the places will come to you.
Checkered flag is now fallen on the session. We've got a couple more cars, or most of the grid, sorry, we'll still yet to cross the line. We'll keep an eye here. Next up is Cot 5. Of course, won several races last season. Two attempts up on his best effort so far. This could put him as high as, put him in the top 6 if he gets close enough. Towards the line, P4 for the Alfa Romeo. Fantastic lap there. Slides off the last corner, second down on his effort. Into the pit lane he comes. BJ towards the line here. We'll see where he puts himself. Looking like 128. Goes into P10. I see Pope at P6.
And Williams front row at the moment as well.
And Che goes fastest.
Wow, out of absolutely nothing. His first sector was a 10th up on his best. I don't know whether that was Sector 2 or Sector 3 where he gained his time, but Che in the Alpha Tauri, he was P9 before he set that lap. And up to pole.
And Grimio won't top him either. Over the line. Looks like Che has pole position for this one. Short of any of his last 3, trumping him in the last sector. Shane over the line for P17. Arsenal fan into the last call. Again, looking at his first full-time season as well. Not improving as it stands. It'll be P19 in the race for him. And Ethan in the Alpine coming through to more or less cap the session off. So Che takes the first pole position of the season in his first race back at full-time. We could be in for a very good race. Look how close that qualifying session is down. We could be in for a cracker here.
Yeah, I mean, the pole time didn't... Only Che set a faster lap than Gremio's provisional pole, and it was by 0.02 of a second. So we got the top 17 separated by 9.5 tenths of a second. It's absolutely crazy. There are so many drivers here that, you know, have wins or podiums, and they're in the bottom half of the grid. Like, even last year's champion, 4 tenths down on pole, he's in P10. What can he do in the race to maybe push himself up to get to those bigger points positions, like a P5 or a P4?
We'll have to wait and see, but all those questions will be answered in about 10 minutes time when the Grand Prix gets underway, if that 10 minutes. Yeah, so Che on pole then, and as you say, down the top 17, unbelievably covered by just less than a second. If I have a look at the exact margin, 0.959 seconds down at P17. The entire grid 2.3 seconds in the end. So we'll go through your top 5 then. Che will lead the grid to turn 1 alongside Grumio, Shades of Seasons 14 there. Landlord in 3rd, Imri 4th, and Grovey rounds at your top 5. So that is your top 5 for the Bahrain Grand Prix, first round of the season. We should be back with you in a few minutes' time for the start of the race. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to the Races Driving League for the opening round of Season 16. The Bahrain Grand Prix, minutes away from getting going here in the Sakir Desert. Once again, I'm your host, Zach RC, and alongside me for his RDL commentary debut, Daniel Aaron. And Dan, if that qualifying session was anything to go by, we should be in for not just a crack of a race, but we should be in for a hell of a season. Because that was intensively close.
Absolutely. Both Ferraris not being able to get that final qualifying lap in might just prove vital. That extra couple of tenths you gain by just moving one row up on the grid slot, that builds over the course of a race. So it will be very, very interesting to see how this race unfolds and this season.
Of course, and then definitely, look at the run to the first corner. Che and Grumio, two former title contenders who've taken each other on in a previous season. That could be a very exciting fight. I remember season 14, those two went at it for the race win in this very Grand Prix, with Grumio emerging on top, which would have been on the second last year, so just over a year ago at this point. But looking to get underway now. So the formation lap is seconds away from starting. I'll be able to take you through the full lineup of the grid. It's a full grid for tonight's race, thanks to one reserve in the running. That'll be our regular co-com Totsby Pope, who we're back with us soon. Of course, Dan, I assume you're enjoying yourself here, having a good time.
Well, I mean, that qualifying session was definitely rather fun, and if that qualifying session proves for the rest of the season, then I hope to be back here more than plenty.
I'll be able to have you back in here as well. Right, so we'll take you through the starting lineup then, going into the opening race of the season. Che starts on pole position, behind him the two Williams cars, 6-time champion Grumio and 3-time champion Landlord. A detail I had to correct after calling him a 4-time champion in the team draw. Could that change this season? We'll have to wait and see. Imri starts in 4th, looking to get his retribution from his half-season campaign last time round. Grovey, of course, looking to continue her strong form from the end of season 15. Of course, I believe in every race she's finished, she's been within the points, but with 8 drivers scoring from this season onwards, that could be a tougher task. Cot 5 took multiple race victories on his arrival to the league. He starts from P6, Pope reserving there in P7. Look for him to advance through the grid throughout the course of the race. Slides took a win in Las Vegas, our inaugural Vegas winner. He lines up in P8. Nicholas 9th, 2-time winner from season 15. And there is your reigning champion, C110P fan, running out the top half of your grid, driving the McLaren this season, alongside his regular teammate BJ in the other Papaya machine. PJ lines the Alpine team up for P12 and P16 with Ethan down there. Websy P13, runner-up in last season's championship, looking to try and return for another title push if he can. Curtis P14 again returns the Alfa Romeo. JB driving the green machine, the Aston Martin, and Ethan, as I say, in P16 for Alpine. Into the last two rows then Shane in the Mercedes, driving the car of the reigning Constructors champions. Lucky Lambert alongside JB in the Aston, looking for a solid season And a solid start for it here tonight. Arsenal fan on the inside of the last row, and rounding them out is the Haas of Courtney Goblin, who didn't have a lot of luck in qualifying, unfortunately. So we'll see how he gets on over the course of the race, because we've always noticed it, Dan, he's got a knack of sort of sneaking his way up there over the course of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, he tends to be towards the back, and towards the end, he's always towards the points. It's quite magnificent, but interesting strategy call from both Che and Slazenger, the only two drivers who aren't starting on the mediums. They're both on the hard tyres. They're going for a longer first stint than everyone else, and going fast at the end. Whether that will be softs or mediums, we'll have to see. Should be a very, very fun run down to turn 1 and 29 laps of this Bahrain Grand Prix.
Waiting now for the last few cars to take their places on the grid here. Of course, Arsenal fan of Courtney Goblin, that back row. Cott going too far forward in his grid slot. He'll be starting a bit further back as Courtney Goblin takes the last spot as you wait now for the lights to get what could be perhaps the most competitive season of the RDL underway. Waiting on those 5 red lights to kick off season 16. Waiting for them all to go out. Brand new season of competition. Lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. We leave the grid here in Bahrain. Che with a very good start over the two Williams cars. Landlord and Grumio side by side. Grovey to the outside as they make their way towards that first corner. Landlord covering her off there to go through turn 1. Che's way with the lead. Williams car side by side. Bit of contact there perhaps between Grovey and Imrie. Not too sure there. Both of them getting away nice. Angling everyone away from the start. Very easily indeed. But Che is off like a shot and leads us into the first sector.
That was a very, very good start from Che. Very clean from everyone else around. I don't think there was any front wing damage or any really big contact. Che, probably the only driver not to have been alongside anyone into turn 1. Probably gonna help him throughout the rest of this lap. It looks like he's the only one that hasn't touched his ERS either in this top 10. So whether he's using it just to try and bolt down the straights, get out that DRS zone, it's going to be tough on the harder compound to the Williams behind though.
Definitely, he'll be hoping they can carry him through the first stint. I see Nicholas Luckers make some moves on Grovey there for P5. She's fallen back in the order back to her original starting spot. Imrie looking for the podium places off those two Williams cars, who are looking to try and close in the AlphaTauri very quickly indeed here. We'll keep an eye on everyone as they snake their way through into the third sector to complete the first lap of this season. A lot of laps still to come in this campaign, and 28 more coming out your way tonight here in Bahrain. It'll be Che who leads us around to complete the first lap of the campaign. Landlord there in second place and Grumio in third. But keep an eye on the toe here down this main straight, because Landlord will be going for the lead here. Going towards turn 1. Pulls to the right hand side of the racetrack, looking for the top spot off of Che, the driver who rivaled his teammate only a few seasons ago into turn 1. Landlord was part-time last season. He's full-time this time around. Bit of contact there between Landlord and Che, but the Williams emerges with the lead. But here comes Imrie looking to go around the outside of Grumio here, off onto the rumble strips a little bit there as they run towards turn 4. Grumio to the inside of Che. Oh, that's close to contact. There was contact there. Both cars going wide. Che off the circuit. Oh, further contact. But Imrie, as you say, Dan, takes full advantage, slips into P2 right under their noses. What a move.
It's a great start from the Ferraris, up 2 and 4 spots from P4 and P9 respectively. Imrie and Nicholas, they're making up for those lost qualifying laps, but the more Imrie and Grumio fight, the more Landlord's going to get away, and the more that DRS. As Che now looks to get past Imrie, but Imrie with the slipstream on Grumio should have that covered. No, because Che brakes slightly later, runs Imrie slightly wide, but those softer tyres of Imrie, those medium compounds, just giving him the grip and the edge on Che into Sector 3.
All of a sudden, as it stands, Che has lost the most places on the circuit despite leading the first lap. I'm sure he'd like to go back one and have another go at that, because that didn't go well from at all there, from Landlord making that move. Then Imrie getting involved as well. So Landlord will lead lap 2. He's about 6/10 clear of Grumio, and now DRS comes to... Oh, Pope.
Yeah,
a bit of a
Pope
mistake there.
with
What's
a
happened?
spin at the last corner. It's not... I mean, he's reserving, so it's for a bit of fun for him. However, I'm sure he would have loved to have gone into a fight, as Imrie and Che still fighting it back out for that final podium spot.
And of course, DRS coming into play now as well, so that should make things all the more entertaining. Arsenal found the first penalty of the season. That's 5 seconds for ignoring a yellow flag. So I'm assuming he may have made an overtake while going past Pope, because the game is the game, as we all know. Nicholas is looking to close on Che here. Look to the outside potentially for turn number 6. Now dives to the inside of the racetrack. The Ferrari looking at it. Che locks up. Contact between the pair of them, and that will allow Grovey and Cott to reel them back in. Grovey gets himself right stuck in now into the middle of this little pack. On the inside of Nicholas, they run towards the left-hander at turn 10. Very tight corner indeed. Nicholas off the circuit, and Grovey with DRS and away with the 5th spot. As up front, Landlord continues to lead, but Grumio is closing him in very quickly. And I dare say we could start to see these two, once again, this old pairing, go back at it for yet another exciting battle of racing.
Yeah, that was a smart move by Grovey on Nicholas. Just saw the gap and was able to take it. Left Nicholas the space, but that curb is aggressive, and Nicholas decided to run wide and concede the position as we now run on to the start-finish straight. I think every car except the last 3 are within DRS of the leaders. So, I mean, it's a very, very tight grid. It will be very, very frustrating for a lot of drivers just seeing a DRS train. And you know, this racing is tough. Mentally, it's draining. Just knowing that you can get past the car, but that DRS, as Che actually lost it down that straight. Those hard tyres not maybe paying off as well as he'd hope. Well, yeah, Grovey closing in on Che now.
Looking for that 4th position as quickly as she can. I see Fan behind them making a move on Cott to the inside of the Alfa Romeo there. Champion versus perennial race winner from arrival on the RDL, and Cott wins out this time around. Fan stays back in line, but he's got BJ backing him up there in P9. And Slaz is all over him though. We'll keep an eye on these guys as they make their way down towards turn 11. And Grumio looking to close that gap a bit more, but nothing yet. And Che, as you say, Dan, is falling away quite a bit. Didn't get DRS that time around, but I think he's back. I think he's just back in range now, but he's had to try and maintain that, as well as avoid losing positions to Grovey and Nicholas. As of right now, the driver who's gained the most on this racetrack is a tie right now between Nicholas and Lucky Lambert in the Aston Martin. And as it stands now, Pope has lost the most places with 12 after that spin. But he hasn't lost too much time. He's on his way back through the field now, looking to take Courtney Goblin for P18. We'll keep an eye on these two as they make their way down the main straight. He could get it done prior to that. But I think Imrie closing the gap to Grumio here. Landlord sets the fastest lap of the race onto lap number 5 of this Grand Prix. And yeah, as you say, Dan, DRS train, not the most fun thing to be in as a driver, I'd imagine, but definitely can lead to a few entertaining battles here and there down the field.
Yeah, the first driver this time without DRS is Cott, and top 6 are just getting further and further away. Might have to start working with Fan, with BJ and Slaz behind, just to get them closer. The top 6, I think they'll want to fight. However, they got to be smart about choosing their battles, because I mean, you saw Cott and Fan lose a bunch of time with their battle, and they're just hemorrhaging it now to the leaders. So you just have to be smart and choose your fights and choose who you want to work with as well. As we head on to this next DRS straight, where I don't see too much happening down here. I think it's a bit too short for anything to happen, especially with however many drivers in this DRS. I think there's 10 drivers in from Cott down to Ethan who all have DRS. So yeah, tough.
Without a doubt, yeah. That's probably been our word of the race so far. It's been a tough outing for all these guys, especially considering how, just as we say, just how close this grid is. But that top 6 though, as you say, is starting to pull away by almost 2 seconds now as Fan goes for the move on Cott and gets clear of him going into the last corner. But I dare say he may lose out on DRS. We'll keep an eye on these two here as they run towards turn 1. Right on board with Fan here. And it looks like Cott does get DRS. Fan didn't get it. He should have perhaps made the move a little bit later. And now they've has to defend the inside. But BJ going to the outside of both cars here. Around the outside of the racetrack. Got a car around and Shane around at the last corner. And I see Slaz getting involved as well. That was very, very close. That could have spelled disaster. But Cott 5 now away. And I think BJ going for that move may have cost his teammate just a touch there. And now both of them trailing the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, like I said, you got to choose your battles, and it's gone from 2 seconds last lap to 3.2 from P6 to P7. Cott won't be happy losing this much time, especially when it's, you know, last season's champion who's fighting him as well. So I'd
Ooh.
expect better racecraft from them. What's happened there, Zach?
I saw a bit of contact between talk about last season. Last season, Websy isn't too far behind this train, but he made a bit of contact with Slaz there going through turn number.
Oh, it's Curtis spins.
Curtis around. Oh.
Yeah, you've had a few spins now. I think Pope, Curtis, and Shane. I'm not sure how many of them have been caused by other drivers. I definitely think there was a bit of contact with Curtis there. We'll have to see, obviously, the steward's report tomorrow. We can't really say. We don't have any live action replays either. However, yeah, going back to that gap is now 4 seconds from P6 to P7. That's a
Shane around again.
Time.
No flag this. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, a lot of time. I mean, if you're caught, you know you have the pace to win this race. You know, you were fighting for wins last season. Yeah.
Fans all over
losing half a tenth down that straight just because he doesn't have DRS. Like, it's frustrating when you're losing time through no fault of your own. But he just has to keep going. Hopefully he can gain some time in the pits, and we now see Imrie and Grovey out of the DRS of the leading two Williams.
Those two are very good at working together. That number 3 and number 5 Williams machines. Grovey's made the move on Chase. Oh, there goes Grovey. Almost off the circuit there, but saves it just about and keeps herself in DRS range too. That was a very close moment to ending her race completely, because that looked like a violent spin there. That could have been off in the barriers potentially. But Grovey keeps a firm hand on the wheel and maintains her placing on the racetrack. So loses a few spots but keeps DRS. But that'll help close in a little bit as Fan chases him down. As you say, that DRS train continues to build here, going from P7 to P15, so 9 cars in it involved right now. Of course, we lost, I believe we lost Shane off that. And I think Pope coming into the pit lane here, made his first stop of the season in for a set of medium tyres. So perhaps we are getting closer and closer now, Dan, to that first pit window. And I think we'll be looking at hard tyres for the majority of drivers looking at their second stints.
Yeah, we talk about the hard tyres. The leading driver on the hard tyres is Che. He's heading down the start-finish straight with the DRS on Imrie, trying to get back P3. I think Che's probably just bought his time so well, because these medium tyres are going to start falling off and those hard tyres are going to start coming back. Che just has to keep on plugging away a tenth on the leaders in front of him. And by the time the race ends, as Imrie actually looks back to the inside again, choosing his battles as lucky, I think. Yeah, again, choosing your battles, is that the best thing to do? Is actually, Imrie, I think maybe the lag spike, whether that was me, I don't know. But Nicholas as well on the inside of Che. So Che, who went into this lap looking for P3, now trying to fend off Nicholas in P5. Che with a half spin as well. That corner's tough. I said no one's particularly fond of it, I believe, and Che definitely showing that in the worst way possible. But he holds on to P4 for the time being.
Imrie though pulling away a little bit here. He's got 6 tenths on the cars behind him. As they go through the third sector. As you say, yeah, the 2 Williams cars getting away. 2.5 seconds now to Imrie in third place. I think these two will start setting to a rhythm now. But will they fight each other, do you reckon, or do you reckon they'll follow each other home? Let's wait and see.
I mean, the first 5 laps, I think we'll see him try and just get away, and then the last 5 laps will be a bit of a free-for-all. But as we see Nicholas and Shane now side by side, both using their ERS, Nicholas braking later.
Lock up there for Nicholas
Still side by side. And Che with a slight moment, doesn't quite get the run he'd like, and concedes the position to the Ferrari. All this fighting, is it going to bring, as actually in all of that, Xeon 10P fan got past Cot. Will they get closer to them? Again, 20 laps to go. There's so much of this race to, you know.
Still to come, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of racing.
Pope with the fastest lap down in last place.
And closing on Shane as well. Could see a move there, essentially. Looking back at this little pack here. I think another lock up there from Che. A bit of a poor exit. Grovey, though, not close to take advantage just yet. Nicholas there, It's got. I think I just like that likes about you were talking about, Daniel. That may have been that probably wasn't you. I've just seen it on Imri's car. He was a bit all over the place down the back straight going into turn 11. So at least we know it's not a problem on your end. And I see that red light flashing on the back. Oh, I saw it flashing on the back of Imri's Ferrari, which of course means he is low on battery potentially. Looking at here, I think Nicholas is in prime position to go on the attack down this main straight. He's right up there behind his teammates. Watch these two go head to head. Their first battle with each other in the prancing horses as they charge down the main straight for lap 10 of this Grand Prix. Nicholas to the outside of the racetrack. Imri defends the inside line into the corner, and Nicholas pulls clear. And Che right behind him there. Again, I'm seeing another lockup. Lot of tyre smoke here. And Cott back around Fan. These two going side by side, but Cott gets away in the exit. We see Fan come back with the DRS though. I have to keep an eye out here as they run towards turn 4. Fan with DRS this time. Does he close enough to go to the inside of the Alfa Romeo? Bit too gutsy for this stage of the race. Fan sticks it in line, knows to be patient and wait for the right opportunity later on in the race. We'll keep an eye on these two as they continue to fight for the last 2 points places in the order. That's what you've got to remember, Dan, because we're looking with this returning format. Only, well, of course, those cars in P9 and P10 would have scored points for this race last season, but not right now. They were looking to try and nick those places off of Cotter Fan as soon as they can. Oh, yellow.
Yeah, as we see,
Pope. And that's a safety car.
A safety car.
Here we go.
That's very, very interesting. We'll see the medium tyres probably come in for the hards, but Che and Slazenger, who were hoping to pull off a longer stint, are not going to be happy with that.
Not at all.
From Che, his teammate for today, in Pope, just not good. But I mean, there could be positions up because obviously the Williams are right behind each other, and so are both the Ferraris. So they might end up double stacking and losing themselves time, which might just let Che through and gain a couple of positions.
Essentially, we'll have to wait and see what the planning is for these two Williams cars. Both of them are in, but yeah, they have left themselves a bit of a gap there between each other. There was a little bit of time that Landau had to wait there, and as a result, Nicholas gets through for P2, only just maintains P3.
Yeah, and Che got Imri as well. I think everybody is actually come into the pits. Yeah, everybody's made a stop. And I think, if I just get the detail up, yeah, Che and Slazenger, both on the mediums. Will they be able to make it last to the end? I mean, the car's going to be lighter. There won't be as much tyre wear, and the first few laps of their stint will be under safety car. But towards the end of the race, it's going to be tough for them to find that life and that time to make it around. As yeah, everybody has finally made their stop. So it might be a bit anticlimactic in terms of the strategy race. But everybody now is going to be on a complete reset. Everybody's going to find themselves with full battery to fight again. And a slightly shuffled order. Obviously, Landlord and Imri both losing positions under that as well. And I think BJ actually lost quite a few as well, because he's found himself behind JB there as well. JB, who I remember was in 13th before that. He was a few seconds behind P12. Yeah, very interesting reset. Not halfway into this race yet, so yeah, be interested to see how this strategy pans out.
Definitely, a lot of racing and strats still to come over the next 18 laps. But as of right now then, Grimio leads the way from Nicholas and then Landlord in third place. Grimio leading a Grand Prix behind a safety car. Where have I seen this story before in the RDL? Quite a few times in my commentary, like my time as commentator in this league. And of course, I know that there'll be many more this season. But yeah, long way to go. And I'd say that anyone who still has a chance of winning this one.
Yeah, let's see who's... Yeah, Nicholas from P9 is now P2.
Fantastic.
So, not being able to get in that qualifying lap. As I said, the race is where those positions are won. He started fantastically. He raced through the field very, very well. Got in front of his teammate just before the safety car came out. And actually, going back to that battle, that's what I mean by choosing their battles wisely, because Imri didn't fight it into the corner to lose time to the 2 Williams in front. And that's managed to get one of the Ferraris back up into P2. Otherwise, it would have given time for Landlord to get in and out before Nicholas.
Definitely, and of course, obviously change the state of play in the Grand Prix itself, especially under the safety cars who wait for the restart here. I mean, from what we've seen so far, the Williams cars appear to be on top. You definitely saw them pulling away before the safety car came out. Dan, do you reckon they'll continue with that same level of dominance after the restart?
Well, there is a Ferrari in the middle of those two now, so Landlord will have to try and fight past Nicholas, but Nicholas is also going to try and fight past Grumio as well, so it's going to be very, very tough. I mean, Che is on the faster tyres in P4, so don't necessarily count him out as well from this battle for the lead straight away. But there's a lot of fast drivers in this top 10, even down, well, yeah, 15 places. And there's a champion down in P18 as well. I think season 10 or 11.
10,
Lucky was
10.
the champ. So, yeah, season 10.
Oh.
As we have the safety car in this lap.
I'll say right now, if you confuse those two again, Pope might kill you, because he loves to remind me that of two things. One, that he's the season 11 champion, and one, that he won Monaco last season. So I can't wait for 6 rounds time or so when hopefully we get a different winner, and he'll be trapped in the comms box up here with the.
He won it in a Haas, of course.
He did do that, yes.
Very, very important detail that he likes to bring up quite often.
Indeed. So we'll enjoy this one race where Dan doesn't have anything to bring up into. I don't know how to word that. We'll discuss this later. Green flag goes back in the air. We're back on the way here in Bahrain on lap 13. A lot of racing still to come here. This fog is really annoying me down the main straight. Towards 10-1 they go. Both Williams cars. Oh, bit of contact there between Landlord and Nicholas as they fight for that first corner. Nicholas very close to the back of Grumio's car. Almost close to contact again. That Ferrari boxed in as they go through turns 1 and 2. Nicholas looking on the outside, knocking on the door of Grumio. Anybody home? Che's home. He's Ponty inside the racetrack going towards turn 4. Almost 4 wide going there. Che looking at it. 3 wide. Landlord gets swallowed there and falls back several spots. Here comes Cott out of nowhere. He's into P4.
Wow.
Che P2. Grumio is away. Only just. What a fight that was. What a restart. That was insane.
Yeah, that was. Well, it's Imri, I think, has made a mistake. He's down in P12 now, so a lot of positions lost. He was P3 on lap 9 or something, so to be down in P13 after that.
Damage
Yeah,
end plate.
Yeah, he won't be too happy with that. He's still, I think, fighting away, but no, he's off track at the moment, letting everyone through. But yeah, battle for this lead. Grumio versus the pole sitter Che. Che on the softer tyres, on the faster mediums.
Here we go.
Is he going to be able to get away from, or get past and get away from Grumio by the time the DRS is active?
I dare say we'll see the first round of this fight go on once again down the main straight. If Che sticks it in line for long enough and just waits for the right opportune moment, but keep an eye on Nicholas behind them and caught in P4 too. Lano has got a rearview mirror full of Grovy's Red Bull, and Slider's not too far behind either. Here we go now, racing for the lead. Che closing in as they run towards turn 1, going to pull to the inside of the racetrack. The AlphaTauri in there down low, looking downstairs as they go through turn 1, and on the exit, Che retakes the lead. The pole setter back out front, and Nicholas will be in prime position to try and chase down Grumio himself. Yellow flag behind them there, and that is BJ off the circuit there. And Imri into the pit lane, making that change to his wings. Soft tyres going on to that Ferrari. BJ now at the back of the pack in P18.
Yeah, again, yeah, I think he was P10 around P9. So again, this just goes to show how much a safety car can change the race. Ethan Websey, he was fighting for P8 at one point, and he's down in P14 after this restart. So I think he might have had a bit of contact or made a mistake as well. We'll have to ask him after. I'm sure he's got some words to say, like he always does. But yeah, Che now 6/10 clear of Grumio, and more ERS, more importantly as well. He's got to get away by the time this DRS is active.
Yeah, he hasn't got much longer to go. Of course, the first detection point is at the entry to turn 1, so he's got to gain that time quickly here. He's got to do it soon. He's got to hope that Nicholas can give Grimio a little bit of grief down the main straight, because that'll help Chase Case in particular. Got a Red Bull car all the way down low there. Grovey letting Slaz through there. A bit of team play for Red Bull potentially. These two working very well together this early on in the Grand Prix. Slaz, of course, on the softer medium tyres as Chase hits the fastest lap of the race there, and Slaz doesn't quite do that, but he's closing on Landlord already, going towards turn 1, looking inside for 5th place, outbraking the 3-time champion and moving up into 5th as DRS returns into play. Grimio has it, but Che's too far in front to have much effect, so he needs to further increase that lead to keep him out of range and try and pull away.
Yeah, Slazenger down that main straight absolutely flew up to Landlord, just eased past. So those medium tyres, maybe the exit just helping him to get that a little bit closer, maybe a bit more slipstream down the straight, and he's up into P5, whether he can give Grumio, Nicholas and Cott a bit of a fight as well. As Cott has a little jink into that left-hander, might have lost a bit of time, but yeah, Slazenger 6 tenths away. I don't think it's close enough to make a move down into this braking zone.
Wouldn't think so. Yeah, hopefully he'll get an opportunity later on with DRS in his favour in a couple of corners' time. Grumio 8 tenths back from Che here. Che is continuing to try and extend his advantage, and Nicholas is closer to Grumio than Grumio is to Che. So we could see DRS again in play, but Nicholas may not want to wait. He looked to the inside there. I thought he was going to try and go late on the brakes in the last corner, but I think this time he should have a good run at the 6-time RDL champion. DRS deployed for both cars here, and Grumio closing the gap to Che, but not enough to go for a move. Or is it? I mean, he's closing, but it shouldn't be enough to go this late on the stoppers going into turn 1, so it should be safe for the minute. Is Che, but he has to keep his eyes on his mirrors down towards turn 4. Let's watch these two go at it. Keep an eye on Nicholas too. Grumio closing in, not quite enough for the minute. Maintains P2, and Che stays in front.
Yeah, Che with almost double, well, just yeah, over double Grumio's ERS amount. So Che definitely using that for when it's important instead of getting out the DRS. I really think that's a bit of a mistake. We'll have to see, but 13-14 laps to go for Che on these mediums. I think it's going to be tough anyways. He has a little slide through that corner anyway. I think Grumio's just gained a tenth or two as he opens the DRS as well. As yeah, this top 8 all within DRS of each other as well. It's a very, very, all the point scorers within DRS of the win.
As it stands, yeah, and PJ 3 seconds back leading the rest of that train. JB now in P10 in Alpine sandwich as it stands. So keep an eye on these guys. See that should there be a mistake, we'll see who can take advantage of those guys. But especially up front here, one McLaren, one Alfa Romeo, one AlphaTauri, and one I forgot what team I'm thinking about now. Bear with me, sorry, I don't know what's going with that. Ferrari, there we go. He's picking up on it. Grimmo to the inside though, looking at the lead at turn 1, he takes it over Che, and Cotton Slash goes at it for P4, but Che right behind his former title rivals. They go towards turn 4 once again. Che breezes past Grimmo like it's nothing there, and 3 takes the lead with Nicholas looking to try and pounce if he can from behind.
Yeah, again, those battles are just going to help everyone else behind get closer. I think Che might regret not using that ERS, just giving himself that bit of breathing space to Grumio so that he might have just focused on a fight with the cars behind instead. But Che's a fast driver, he always has a plan, so, you know, he's won races in RDL, I haven't, so, and there's probably a reason for that.
We can have that discussion another day on another stream. I saw Nicholas going for a move there on Grumio off of turn 10, but couldn't quite get the hammer down the exits to try and pull alongside. It was about half a car length to the good was Grumio at that point. But Cott is still there in 4th, lurking and just waiting for an opportunity to make his move. Of course, he's been up there in this lead pack for about 10 laps or so now, so he'll be waiting for an opportunity to go for the lead, but hasn't quite been up there just yet. And Slaz is looking to pull away from from Landlord and Grovey in P6 and 7. And Fans will be off these guys as well. As of right now, he's got the last point on the board. The point scorers, as we say, have pulled away. We'll have to keep an eye on who gets what points coming into the race. We get lap 18. Just 11 laps to go in this Grand Prix. So all of a sudden, we're nearing the end of the race.
Yeah, as we see Grumio go up the inside of Che once again,
contact.
and this time Blaze or Grumio is going to have the DRS heading up into turn 4. Will it be a bit of a switch of roles compared to last lap? Che defends the inside. Grumio's at the outside, but Che still has it covered. It's a bit of a slow exit though. That might allow space for Grumio. Grumio decides to sit behind for now and let Che go into sector 2 as the leader of this race.
But Nicholas is going at it. He wants that second position. He wants it now. So he's looking to sort of keep the points going for Ferrari after Imri stepping down the field earlier on. Another lock up from Grumio there. And he'll have both cars on DRS. And I can see Slaz breaking the toe away from everyone else. Perhaps trying to keep Lando from closing in too much as they go through to turn 11 once again. Looking here, Che continues to lead. He's doing a fantastic job on those mediums. And Slaz, as we know, will be doing the same thing in terms of tyre wear. So these two, I imagine, won't be on those in terms of pace for too much longer, given how quickly those tyres can wear out. Top 4 remain single file. Slaz trying to break the toe. Lando and Grovey both following him through, as well as Fanning and Torma going for it as well. 11 laps to go, in this race. Shame with a time penalty there. We'll keep an eye on what's going on further back as well, just outside of the points. Everyone quite split up. Of course, Imri and Kurt are still quite way away from everyone else. As Che goes for the lead again.
Oh!
Slides across turn 1 there. Grumio goes side by side. Who gets DRS? I think Grumio gets it. He does.
Yeah, Grumio got it, but Che has the ERS advantage, and he's using it as he's looking to the inside. He's just
close,
not able to get his wing inside.
Nicholas is, though.
Yeah, Nicholas up the inside. He's choosing to fight Che this time, and whether those mediums on Che have just gone, we'll have to wait and see. He's so close. Tight. And now Che, he's gone from 10 points down to about, I can't remember how much it is.
5 points here, as it sounds.
5 points. Yeah, not
yellow
good,
flag.
as we see a yellow.
That's lucky Lambert.
Yeah, lucky it's actually Che and Nicholas made a bit of contact. Now Grumio's walking away. He's 1.6 seconds clear.
Well, all of a sudden the race has changed very much in the favour of the former champion, looking to earn his crown back in season 16. And all of a sudden, we now see the Red Bulls getting involved too. Slaz and Grovey right there with the rest of the podium runners, Nicholas, Cott and Che. But Grumio, as you say, is getting away. And I think on those medium tyres, that we could be counting Che and Slaz perhaps out of the equation potentially as they look towards the last corner. Because I doubt those medium tyres will be able to carry a challenge to the end of the Grand Prix. It would have been better off for Chase to have held the lead and tried to defend it over the last 10 laps.
Yeah, Nicholas getting past Cott on that last corner there as well. Will Cott look for a move up the inside of turn 1? No, he decides to back out. And actually, Che, using all of his ERS, he now has nothing over Grumio. I think he's just thrown the kitchen sink towards this race win, and it might just be too little too late for Che. Those tyres, I think, are of a detriment to him now, as the cars behind, I'm sure, will find their way through on the ever so slidey Che.
Let's keep an eye on Che here as we go through the last 9 laps this Grand Prix. And we'll also keep an eye on Slaz as well, who's also on the exact same medium tyres. Will he allow Grovey back through though? Because of course Grovey did the same thing for him earlier on after the restart. So could we see the Red Bull teammates return the favour to each other perhaps? And perhaps see Grovey fight for the higher points? So we have to wait and see.
I think, well, I mean, last 10 laps of the race, if maybe the tyres do start to completely drop now, it would be different. But if they drop in the last 3 laps, then there might be a bit more of a fight. So we'll have to see when those tyres do completely fall. As yeah, Che 1.3 seconds away from Grumio now, and Nicholas looks like he might just make this a bit of a procession now for Che, unfortunately.
I see Nicholas going for second place now, looking for the lead looking for second in the race off of Che, and we could see perhaps Nicholas have a run at Grumio going into turn 1. Oh, a bit of contact. I see sliding a bit on his entry to the first corner. JB passing PJ now in the race for the 9th spot as they go through that first corner. Websy and Ethan behind them. Websy perhaps I'll keep an eye on this battle for P9 here, because should anyone in the top 10 make a mistake or retire, then whoever leads this little train can move right into a points paying place. So we'll keep an eye out as these guys carry on their scrap for position. Shane into the pit lane here. Soft tyres going on to that Mercedes. Of course, Mercedes not the best of opening races, given the start looking to defend their Constructors' Championship crown. Hopefully they'll be able to pick things up in the next couple of rounds. But of course, a lot of good teams around them. In particular, we're looking at Williams mainly, as well as, of course, Ferrari and Red Bull. I think will be the main ones from both from qualifying and this race. I think those will be our big three to start things off.
If it's anything to go with qualifying, yeah, definitely. They were all the way. They were Williams, Ferrari, Red Bull, Williams, Ferrari, Red Bull at one point during quali before Chase snatched pole. So it's going to be, very, very tough for Mercedes to try and hold on to that. Obviously, a change of driver lineup for Mercedes, as those Mercedes drivers are now at McLaren, who are in 8th and 13th as well. So, it's, going to be very, very interesting to see, as I think Nicholas actually has managed to get within the DRS of Grumio.
Yes. And I see also going for a move there. Sorry, I have to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh, contact! Groby dives to the inside of Cott there and takes P5 away. But you're right, Nicholas is closing.
Yeah, and Cott not allowing Landlord a look through turn 3 as well. It's all getting a bit feisty in these closing laps, and Che's actually sticking with Nicholas quite well as well. Slaz out of DRS of these top 3, so those medium tyres, he's got to get the last bit of life out of them that he possibly can to get back into this DRS train. And I mean, we saw early in this race, DRS counts for about half a tenth on that main straight alone, so it's going to be important for Slaz and the cars behind to get within this train.
Definitely, and we'll hope they can close it. I mean, Slaz isn't too far away from it though. Only about a tenth or two off at best, so a mistake from Che could be all he needs to close that gap back down again. And Groby behind as well, so that'll bring the rest of this train back into place. But Fan is 1.3 off the pace here. I think his title defence may start with 8th place at best as it stands right now, short of a mistake from one of the cars in front. Grumio leads in, but Nicholas 7/10 now, and Che, as you say, Dan, is following in his wake. So we could see perhaps a three-way scrap for the win over these last 7 laps as we begin lap 23.
Yeah, there's an interesting fight as well. P9 down to P13 really. BJ just dropping off the DRS as well. You know, we've already seen quite tough fighting as we see Cott and Landlord again fighting for P6 this time. It's tight, but I think Cott just defends it on the inside, but Landlord has that overspeed and the slipstream that he can use off of Grovey. It's Cott again diving to the inside, this time at turn 4. Landlord, light, he loses the rear and concedes a position to Cott as well. Don't think he'll be too happy, but that gap from Slazenger and Slazenger with less than 10% ERS. 1.7 seconds now to Che is very much an uphill battle for the Red Bull.
Definitely, but it's not as uphill for the two guys behind, Che and Nicholas, who are behind Grumio right now, but less than a second separating all of them as it stands as they run towards turn 11. I think Nicholas making that move P2 may, as we've been saying, may have given Che a bit of a lifeline here in his closing laps of this Grand Prix, but he's got to make it count as best he can. But you can definitely see he's starting to slide a little bit. Those mediums are struggling. Now to be careful not to start off track and get any penalties. That'll be the main thing, and then trying to maintain this position over the last few laps.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting point to make, seeing if anyone has any warnings or any penalties that they might be looking at. I mean, it's not... Bahrain is quite an open track, and I don't think there are too many penalties that you'll get. I think Che might have 1 or 2 warnings. There's actually Nicholas, who's a bit deep into turn 1, might have just outbraked himself, and whether that'll allow Che through, we'll have to wait and see a few seconds as we go up to turn 4. I think Che just backs out. Nicholas with the slipstream and DRS defends well as, we see Slazenger concede the position to Grovey.
And here we go. This could be what we were talking about earlier. Potentially we could see Grovey perhaps drag Slaz towards the 3 leaders, and that could bring Cot and Landlord back into the race as well. So there's been tactics to this Grand Prix as well. So it's been a fantastic opener, and hopefully it'll give us an equally fantastic finish. I think back to season 12 when Grumio, formerly known as Blaze back then, driving the Alf, if I remember correctly, it was, I don't remember what the car was, I believe it was the Alpine that they were driving, and he was on for what looked to be perhaps an easy win until he was just, well no sorry, I'm wrong, it was the Alfa Romeo he was driving, it was the Alfa he was driving, and he was in position with 3 laps to go with a dominant leader over the 2 Williams cars at the time, until he spun out going through turn 3, going onto the second DRS straight, and he recovered it, but had to defend for 2 laps against 2 very strong Williams machines. We could see him defending again, but for a bit longer against 2 equally fast race cars and drivers driving them too. As Nicholas will start to close in once again, closing that gap quite rapidly here. This could be a lead change, Dan. He's looked to the inside of the racetrack, but backs out of it, thinks smart, perhaps setting up for a run into turn 4. Trying to nick that race lead away, and Che behind him looking to try and pick up the scraps as best he can. Towards turn 4 they come. Nicholas on the DRS, looking to close in as much as he possibly can. Again, won't go for it, maintains position. And the top 3 carry on as they were. Grovey still 2 seconds back from these guys, but pulling away from Slaz perhaps. What he's left to fend off Cot and Landlord for P5.
Yeah, whether Slazenger's just accepted the role of rear gunner, just give Grovey a bit of space to maybe push a bit more than she normally would, so if she does make a bit of a mistake, she doesn't immediately get pushed back into the lower points positions. Yeah, I mean, we saw this last season in Qatar, I think, with Grovey and Che. In fact, Che went on to win that race. You know, Che just bought his time well, looked for the move at the right opportunity so that Grovey couldn't get past, and ended up winning that race. So whether Nicholas is doing the same thing, we'll have to wait and see. As Che runs a little bit wide there at the second to last corner. Nicholas looks ever closer every lap. Looks more and more likely that he'll make a move on Grumio.
It looks more and more ominous all the time here. Lap 26 begins, 4 laps to go in Bahrain, and Nicholas now making that crucial move to the inside of the racetrack, looking for the race lead, and he'll take it going to turn 1, but can Grumio dive back in there? I thought he was going to go for it for a second, didn't quite. Knockout from the Ferrari, that'll keep Grumio and Che in play as well as they run towards turn 4. Let's keep an eye on these guys. DRS once again deployed as Nicholas now has to now defend against the 6-time champion of the league, pulling ever closer as they run for turn 4. All 3 of them stay in line. Grovey still about 2 seconds back, carrying this little train with her, but not closing in enough. These guys need to fight a bit more in order for her to fully close in and bring the rest of the train along.
Yeah, Grovey getting closer and closer. These guys are so close. They're just losing time in the dirty air, and Grovey with that extra bit of downforce through these slower, tighter corners, just gaining that time. And at this moment, it looks like the DRS might be a bit of a detriment to Che and Grumio at this point, as Grovey 1.7 seconds back into Sector 3. As Slaz is still half a tenth behind, so not accepting that rear gunner role. Jeff definitely staying with his teammate in Grovey as we head down into the last corner yet again with just, well, it will be 3 laps to go next time we cross the line.
And we could see another race for the lead here. Grumio, you see how much the DRS played into Nicholas's hands last time round. Grumio is equally as close. Che cannot close in. We're hoping these two go at it into turn 1. Grumio pulls in front of Nicholas as they go into the first corner. Oh, a bit of a skid there from the Williams as they go through. Landlord taking Cot for P6, looking to get some more points for the team based in Grove. Nicholas now pulling to the, look at the inside for turn 4. Again, needs to take his chance a bit too early there. Che a bit loose through 4 and dropping some time off. And that could be big for Grove to try and close in with DRS.
That's 2 moments there from Che that's just going to lose him time. He looked down the inside of Nicholas at turn 1 as well. And then that little moment in turn 4, Grovey, who has very minimal ERS to be fair, just using that last bit to try and get back into the DRS. I don't think it's enough. No, 1.2 seconds. But ever closer from the Red Bulls.
Looking perhaps to try and nab a late podium if they can get close enough. If Che makes another mistake, he could lose out completely. Cuts and Shane going at it for the P18 from what I'm seeing here on the racetrack as well. So what I'm seeing on the mini map. We'll see what's going on with those two. They're side by side towards turn 4. We'll see which one of them gets to the line first in 2 laps time. But in terms of the race up front, the first 10 points of the season are still on the line here for any of these guys in the, arguably I said, in the top 5, top 6 to come in with a win. Anything could still happen in these last 2 laps, so to keep an eye out. But we're looking mainly these top 3 will be gunning for the lead down the main straight. Nicholas, it's his turn to go on the attack towards the first corner. He's closing all the time here. Grimio defending inside the racetrack. Nicholas, the outside, looking, saying thank you very much, mate. If there's a lane, I'll take it. Into the first corner, upstairs for Nicholas. And on the exit, Grimio running a bit tight there, but managing to give him enough room. Nicholas through the lead here. And going through with DRS, it'll be Grimio who neither one of them get it. Che closing in now. It's almost 3 wide, Grimio to the outside.
It was brave from Che. It was brave. He doesn't.
Oh, contact!
There's contact.
Both
Into
cars!
the wall, Che goes.
Around us,
And
Grimio,
that's
no!
Grimio off as well, as we see Slazenger now up into P3, Grovey to P4. Oh, wow. Wow. And I think Nicholas has just been given a free lifeline. 2-second gap now to Che, who I think might have escaped without wing damage.
Ooh,
yellow flag. I think that's a Haas of
yeah,
Cottony Goblin. Yeah, as now both medium runners, P2 and P3, Landlord up in P5, and Grimio I think has wing damage because he lost a spot to Cot there. Or I'll have to see. No, again I think his car looks fine, but dirty tyres, off track for quite a while. I mean, yeah, it was a potential 10 points down to 2. One mistake. One mistake, and you've lost 80% of the available points. So, not, yeah, it's ruthless, this point system.
Definitely.
But it works both ways. Some races.
Oh, sorry, I had to cut you off if it almost went 3 wide into the first corner. We start the last lap of this race. Che will now be scrambling to try and get second place. Grovey and Slides going for moves here as they run towards turn 4. Both Red Bulls on the attack on the AlphaTauri. There goes Landlord all the way underneath, looking for 3rd place. Grovey now in 3rd, Che in 2nd still. Side by side, Landlord and Grovey, who gets around the Red Bull and looks for the AlphaTauri now as well. All while Nicholas heads on to win the first race of the season, provided nothing goes wrong in this last half lap of the race. Grovey down the inside of Landlord here as they look for 3rd place once again. She's got the exit, but can she pull clear the Williams? Is very close, but he's going to stick his nose in there for the entry to turn 10. They come very close to contact. Grovey off the circuit there, and that may be the podium out the window for her. She falls away, and Slides will looking to try and take it for Red Bull in these last few moments. As Grimio back in 5th place now. It's chaos on the last lap here in Bahrain. It looks like Landlord has got away with the podium, and Grimio could still try and nick something should there be a last-minute mistake from these cars behind. Meanwhile, Nicholas has got 1 more corner left to go before the first win and the first 10 points of the season goes his way. Landlord's got nothing left for ERS. Che, unbelievably, looks like he might actually hold on and finish 2nd, but the race win is going to go to Ryan Nicholas, who rounds off the last corner and crosses the finish line to win the season opener and start it off for Ferrari. Nicholas wins in Bahrain. Che across the line narrowly in 2nd over Landlord, who completes the podium, slides in 4th, Grimio 5th, Grovey 6th, Clark 5 in 7th, and C110P fans start to settle defence with the last points on the board. And Websy narrowly holds off JB for P9. What a race that was. What an ending.
Yeah, those last 3 laps were just utter chaos, for better or for worse. All started with that, well, interesting contact between Grimio and Che. It's up to the stewards to decide that. I think it's more of a racing incident than anything. It's just, you know, tyres are getting old. You're pushing for, you know, that extra to get closer to the lead, because, I mean, yeah, free win for Nicholas effectively. No one challenged him right at the end.
I'm sure he'll more than happily take it in the end of the race. So Nicholas takes victory for Ferrari, then opens the seasons with smiles for Scuderia, and is the first winner in the RDL Season 16. And again, if that race between those lead cars with anything to go by, we're in for a hell of a season. continue on next week at Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on the 15th of January, so make sure to stick around for that as well. And hopefully get some post-race interviews going for us as well. But that was, as you say, a crazy finish. Of course, we'll leave the stewards to make their way through it and give their verdict on what happened in those closing laps, because it wasn't too chaotic. No contact penalties to hand out in-game, so the game clearly didn't think too much of it, but definitely the contact between Che and Grimio will be looked at. I mean, obviously, again, we'll just leave the stewards to it, let them do their job. And yeah, that would be the race. So Nicholas wins it. The first 10 points of the season going his way.
Yeah, and Che with 8 as well. I mean, Nicholas qualified P9, finishes P1. Again, what did I say earlier? As long as you know what you're doing in the race, as long as you find something you're comfortable with, those positions will come to you, and Nicholas proved that absolutely today. Gained 8 places. I think he was the biggest gainer today. Che P2, Landlord P3 after being down in P6 with 3 laps to go as well. Slazenger P4, Grumio P5 despite going down to P7, so he doubled his points tally. Grovey P6, Cop P7, rounding out the points is last season champion Fern, Websy, JB, PJ, BJ, Ethan, Lucky, Arsenal, Orion Imrie, Cottony, Shane and Curtis round out your finishers, and then Pope obviously caused that safety car earlier on in this race, the only non-finisher.
And that will be the race. Very entertaining stuff all around, and we'll get post-race interview started as soon as we can. I'll get the message out. Hopefully we'll get some arrivals. But yeah, that was great fun. And of course we'll get the opinions of everyone just about the race in general and how enjoyable that was. And we have our first arrival here, Tasby Pope. Of course, unfortunately, in his reserve appearance, the only retiree of the Grand Prix. Pope, welcome back to this familiar place. How you doing?
Yeah, it's weird to be doing both in one race day, but yeah, it's very, very disappointed. I'm sure it's not a surprise. It could have been so much better. Had the pace as well. Just a mistake on my part. Obviously, 4 months of not racing really shows, and then obviously a lot of incident which completely just took me out of the race.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, obviously it's been a while since you've driven, so we cut you a bit of slack there. But did you mean in the time you were on track, did you enjoy yourself amongst the pack at least?
Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah, it's nice to know that I've not lost it in terms of pace wise. I think pace was really, really good today, especially around the track, which I've never really been strong at. So I'm very happy with that, and it was good until obviously the incident. I don't really know what happened. Like I said, I've barely done any races on this game, so I'm still even learning the game this late on. So it's one of those, but yeah, just very, very disappointed, and especially with the incident later on, which just knocked my front wing off, and then having to pit and then crashing out later on as well. It wasn't great.
Fair enough. But did you see the rest of the race at all?
No, I had to just calm down, and now United versus Wigan is on, so I'm letting that.
True.
Dictate my move now. We'll see what happens when we get beat 1-0 by Wigan.
I can't wait to find out what goes on with that. But yeah, so yeah, it should be an exciting season. If you're looking forward to come back in the comms box.
Oh, of course I am. I like talking. As many people probably watching know, I do love to talk. I think I'll be optional reserve for 1 more week, and then I'll be back at the comms box, and that does mean I'll probably be in the comms box for Monaco as well, which I know you're going to be best pleased about.
As we're all aware. I mean, are we looking potentially at Dan nicking your job? Or we have to wait and see about that?
I mean, if Dan wants my job, he'd have to sing Robbie Williams' Angels as good as me, and we know there's only one person who can do that, and it's not Dan. It's not even Robbie. It's myself again.
That's brave to say that to someone who's taken singing lessons, Pope. That's all I'm going to say.
Who needs singing lessons when you've got vocal cords like me?
Can I just suggest audio rap battle, please, at the end of the season?
Oh, he would not survive with Pope's insults.
I would not. No.
I think we've got to do it. We'll give you guys until the last race of the season to come up with lines, then we'll have a rap battle.
Sounds good.
Stuff.
I'm going to hold you to that now. That's my idea now. Okay, right. We'll keep an eye on that.
Oh, please don't.
Pope, we'll let you go. You enjoy the rest of your evening. We've got a few more interviews to run through here, but yeah, good to see you back in here. Hopefully, we'll see you back in here soon for the rest of what should be a very entertaining season.
Thank you very much, and congrats to Nicholas as well for the win.
Indeed, and we'll talk to Nicholas now. Of course, our first race winner of the campaign. Nicholas, you'll unmute yourself for us, buddy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Congratulations, mate. First race winner of the season. Of course, P9 on the grid to P1 at the end. Talk us through it.
Well, quali, I have one word. Disgusting. Couldn't get a lap together. That was all. And in my last lap, I was 3/10 up. I was predicted to do 28.0. And then on the racing line, I get marbles, but it is what it is. I knew I had the pace. Yeah. The Williams gave me a good fight. Everyone gave me a good fight, to be honest. I tried to go for gaps, but not squeeze anyone off track. But yeah, in general, it was a good race. From P9 to P1 is a good effort. At the end, the gap was, of course, more because I don't know what happened. But Grumio spun, I think. I don't know why, so I'm not gonna accuse Che or something. But yeah, I can't complain about it. Really, it was a great race. Was a good stint on the hards as well. Got a bit boxed in from the Williams, but that's racing, you know. And they paid the price with Landlord.
Fair enough. Of course, the safety car mid-race definitely played into the hands for your strategy. I mean, did that have any change to things at all, or was it just did you help the plan? Do you reckon?
Oh yeah, it changed everything. I wanted to do medium soft.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if that would have worked, but I have a good feeling it could work if there's a virtual safety car, but that's another thing for tomorrow.
Definitely, we'll have to perhaps look at that later on in the season. But of course, I mean, you're up there with those two Williams cars. You were giving them quite a good scrap on whatever mind. Do you reckon you can keep that up the rest of the season and fight those two essentially for the championship? What do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. It's just a shame what happened to my teammate. He had great pace as well. Was only 2 or 1/10 off me. So yeah, it's really a shame. But we will bounce back in Jeddah as a team.
And in terms of your personal race, are we looking at a second win in a row potentially in Jeddah, or what are we thinking there? Because I've never seen you drive before, so I have to wait and see what you got.
Well, in Jeddah, it's difficult to say. It's really a track-depending pace, because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. That sounds like a meme, but yeah, it's just like that. We have to see what the grid will do, and I did good laps in time trial, but time trial is not where I win the race, so have to see.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations on the win. Hopefully we'll see you back in the comments box for interviews soon. And yeah, we'll allow you to go off and enjoy the rest of the evening. So you have a chill one, mate, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, of course. You both too.
Have a good one, Nicholas.
Have a nice one.
And that'll be your race winner, Orion Nicholas. And we'll move on now to our last interview of the night. Dan, if you want you to take this one, or I can give it a crack with our second place versus Che. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll give it a go with Che.
Che, be nice
well,
to you.
first of all, how did the race go for you? Like, how do you think overall, in terms of, you know, first race back in the AlphaTauri? Obviously, the win was there. Do you think you could have got it?
Good evening, boys.
Hello.
Well, to be honest, I thought my race was pretty much shambles. Like, I just could not seem to get in a good groove. And you know, the win probably was on. It's annoying that I couldn't convert the pole, but you know, it is what it is. This is racing. You can never predict what's going to happen. But I think I'm obviously quite rusty. I've not really been on the game for a long time, so that's probably part of it. And then, you know, at the end of Grumio, I think I've just watched it back, and there's nothing really in it. I think that was a contact model racing incident. You know, we both got hooked onto each other. There was space either side, and yeah, just unfortunately both tangled and kind of drifted away. But yeah, good GG to Nicholas. Congrats to him.
Obviously, you were one of 2 cars to start on the hard tyres. How much of an impact did the safety car have on your strategy and on your race?
To be fair, I thought I was on the back foot with the tyres the whole time, because everyone else was on mediums at the start. You know, I struggled quite a lot at the start, and then in the end, you know, being on the mediums in the middle stint obviously brought me a few positions. Well, I think it was 3 positions in one straight after the safety car. But then, you know, they drop off quickly, so I struggled at the end. I think that's why I was struggling with on traction or braking. I think so. I don't know. It kind of held me back, the strategy, but who knows? It could have worked either way.
And in terms of the season, there's obviously the championship to fight for. Is there any particular worries in terms of drivers? Obviously, we saw Nicholas get the first win today. Anyone else that maybe didn't get as many points as you think they should have that might be up there at the end of the season to challenge you guys?
Well, the list goes on. Like, there's everyone in this league now is basically a race winner. Everyone could win a race, so I think it's anyone's game, to be honest. This is just the first race, a long season. But yeah, we'll see.
Are you happy that Sniper Hunter isn't racing this season?
Not really, because he's washed anyway. So.
Oh, I was that.
Totally agree.
Oh, Nicholas agrees. All right then. I'll have to
He's
let
washed,
know
mate.
this. Right.
Zach, any more questions for Che?
Have you asked about next week? What we're thinking for Jeddah? Jay, what are we thinking?
Well, I'm hoping I can make it.
Okay.
Yeah, but fingers crossed if it all works in my favour, I should make it. And usually it's actually quite one of my strong tracks, which is annoying if I can't make it. So yeah, it's just Bahrain's definitely one of my weakest tracks, but
Well,
it goes in roundabouts, doesn't it? So
yeah, you, in fairness, you nick the P2 on more medium tyres at a track that's you said one of your weakest. So I wouldn't say that's too bad. And then one last thing, could we see perhaps trying to fight for the title again? Sort of reiterating the question Dan asked a few moments ago. Could it be another season
honest,
12?
everything relies on if I can make it to the races or not, because obviously some people are going to make 100% of them or whatever. So, and I know for a fact I'm not going to make 100%. So it just depends on that, how many other people miss, and then if I keep finishing strong like today, for example, then you'd definitely be in with a shot.
Sounds good. Well, hopefully we'll have you around for quite a lot this season. But yeah, congratulations on the podium finish. Good start. 8 points for your tally to kick things off. That'll do it for the interviews, more or less. So, Che, Nicholas, thank you guys for showing up, and hopefully we'll see you back next week. And well done on the top of the interview as well. Class on you.
Thank you. Take care, boys.
Cheers.
Well, that will wrap off tonight's stream, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Earlier on, we mentioned our word of the race was tough. That's the word we used quite a lot during the stream. So, in a bit of change this week, make sure if you're still here, make sure to put the word down in the comments below, and let me know what you thought of Dan's first hour team commentary. Because we do this for Pope, we do it for Dan as well. So everyone gets the same treatment. All co-coms are treated equally here in the Odd Hill. So we'll be back next week for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at the Jeddah Street Circuit. Make sure to stick around for that. So until next time, the Races Driving League is back. It'll be a hell of a season. So until then, we'll see you next time. Good night. And we're out.